Oh, I just woke up. Gotta crack the back a little bit. Alright, so first things first, hopefully you guys are all staying inside, staying indoors, staying safe. If that's the case though, you might be feeling a little bit bored, a little bit uninspired. You can't go outside, you can't make videos, you can't take photos. Well, today we're looking at something that might be able to help you out a little bit with that. So believe it or not, I actually get a decent amount of random emails from companies wanting to send me stuff. I'm not a huge channel, I'm not super cool, it's not like I've got Canon on my left and Sony on my right, and I'm like, whoa guys, take it easy. But a lot of companies from overseas, from little electronic stores, just from all over the place, message me with little trinkets to review. I mean, yes, that sounds kind of cool, but on this channel, I'm not going to get a $10 wireless phone charger and review it. Like, you guys probably don't care about it, and neither do I. But for the first time in months, I actually got an email that caught my attention. So this Amazon seller, who I believe goes by the name ANDYCINE, it could be ANDYCINE, but since this is like cinema, regardless, the guy reached out to me and said he had a battery-powered RGB LED panel that you could mount on your camera, that you could mount on light stands, and he wanted to send it to me to review. Now, I haven't worked with a company in a long time, but I sent him the exact same email I send everyone. I said, number one, if the product is bad, I'm gonna highlight all of the flaws. I'm not gonna recommend it. This is a review, I'm not just promoting your product. And number two, it's gonna take me about a month to get the video up because I actually wanna use the product, I wanna test it out. When he actually contacted me, I was finishing up finals in school, so I told him it'd be about a month before I'd make a video on it. And he said, yeah, that's fine, and he sent me the light. And let me get this out of the way. My expectations were not high. When someone reaches out to send you a product for free, I normally don't expect it to be great. It's like they're giving this away for free, maybe they need the promotion. I didn't have high expectations. But I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Josh Winiarski, and I'm a photographer and filmmaker here on YouTube as well as Instagram. And today, we're going to be taking a look at the ANDYCINE RGB R1 LED light. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lot of you are like, oh, I want to have cool videos. I don't want to spend my money on lights. I want to buy a new camera, lenses, cool stuff like that. Well, let me stop you right there. Lighting is so important for videos, for photos, I mean, if I didn't have lights in my videos, all of them would look like this, which looks absolutely terrible. Alright, so let's start things off by looking at the build quality of the light. So we've got a full metal housing. I don't know what kind of metal, but it feels pretty hefty. Up top, we've got a power on off switch, also made out of metal. We've also got a metal mode button, and the only somewhat cheap feeling part on this light is a little plastic. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little plastic switch here. It doesn't feel cheap, but it is the cheapest feeling part on the light. And of course, we've got the charging port. This one's actually USB-C, which at first I wasn't super excited about. My phone uses micro USB. All my portable chargers, all my other batteries use micro USB, but I can't really say that's a bad thing. USB-C is the way of the future. I'm just a little behind the times, but that's something worth knowing if you're gonna buy this light. Oh, and then you've also got an LCD screen on the back of the light. Lights up, shows you the battery percentage as well as the mode or color temperature the light's in. So that's pretty neat. And we've got, of course, the plastic diffusing panel on the front. So build quality feels great. It's about the size of a phone. Actually, you can take a look at that. It's actually a little bit smaller than my particular phone. And I think it's a tad thicker, but it feels really solid, really good, no complaints there. Oh, and I almost forgot to go over, it also comes with a mount like this. So it's just a standard kind of tripod screw light stand mount. Screws into the bottom of the light. And then you've got your hot shoe, cold shoe mount on the bottom, so you can attach it to a camera or something like that, which is super handy. And it also comes with a cheap little fabric case. You can store the light in there, it's not going to get scratched up. I don't think it's going to provide that much protection, but it's nice it comes included. Anyways, now that all that's out of the way, let's get into what you actually want to see, which are all the awesome features this light has. So real quick, I'm going to flip it on again. I'll put it on my face. You can see it's decently bright right now. This is actually only 10% brightness, so let's try cranking it up real quick. This is 10. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm about blind now. But this is 100% brightness. And let's get out of the way. Here, I'll just show you the background real quick. So as far as brightness goes, this thing is pretty cool. But I'm going to dim it back down just so you can see, me as well as the light. Let's cycle through some of the features. So on top of having an adjustable brightness setting, it also has color temperature adjustments. So right now we are on the coolest temperature, which is 7,000 kelvins. Let's turn it down to the lowest temperature. So we're about 3,000, 2,500. So as you can see, the light's a lot warmer now. So the color temperature is completely adjustable, which is really, really handy. But all that's to sort of be expected, right? I mean, this is an RGB light. You'd expect it to be at the minimum able to change color temperature. We want to get into the RGB effects. So the first color that's going to come up is this nice blue color. That's sort of what I have saved on the light right now. It's kind of the channel color, so I like to use that a lot. But you can actually cycle through 360 different colors, which is absolutely insane, super helpful, super cool. Let's check it out real quick. So right now we're at hue 190. If I just push up on this wheel, we can cycle through every single color you can think of. So that's pretty handy. I also especially like how it saves the color you want. So again, we're back on this blue, and I can turn the light off. Hit the mode button. It's going to go to the exact same shade of blue, which is super handy if I'm going for consistency in shots and I'm packing it up, taking it elsewhere, or just turning it off and back on a lot. Super cool, but that's not all this light can do. So if we hit the mode button once, twice, check this out. So there's a ton of different preset modes built in. This is like the police siren mode. So you can see that actually looks pretty cool. It's got a really nice strobe effect. It looks like there's sirens flashing. I'm about to get out of here. But on top of that, there's a ton of different other modes. So we go up one more. So this is like white and blue. I think it's maybe closer to like an ambulance mode or something like that. Cycle through another one. So this one's red and white flashing. Then you've got this effect, which is pretty cool. It's like a lightning effect. Cycle through again. A little bit more of a randomized, sporadic, the lightning effect. So if we put that there, it's kind of cool, kind of mysterious, kind of lightning feeling. Then you've got other modes like this, which just cycles through all the RGB colors. One mode just goes through them pretty slow like it is now. If we move it up one more notch, it cycles through them really quickly. So that's the RGB mode, also super cool. And that's about the main feature set of this light. So that's a lot of really cool features packed into a small light like this. Super handy, super convenient, but I want to talk about how I personally have been using the light lately. So in my mind, a light like this is super handy because you can use it to enhance almost any situation, whether you're doing photography, whether you're doing video. So here's what I mean. So let's just take the light, for instance. We're going to cycle to that blue color I like. And then let's just throw it in the scene behind me. So if I just set the light down on my desk behind me, the scene already looks a little bit cooler. I've got the blue light on the left already, but this other side was a little bit kind of bland feeling. So throw that light back there, a pop of color. Actually, I'm going to turn it up just a tad. And bam, you can already see that looks pretty dang cool. And we can cycle through the colors as well. So let's throw the RGB effect back there. Okay, so looking at it now, it might be a tad distracting, but you can't deny that looks pretty dang cool. We went from a pretty basic feeling, just room setup, to this futuristic, fancy RGB talking head shot, which is super cool. About a month ago, I was actually working on a short film, and we needed to film a dance scene. But I didn't own a light like this. None of my LED panels have RGB colors. So what I actually had to do is buy these things called gels, which are essentially colored pieces of plastic you put over your lights, and then I was just using clamps to actually attach them to the LED panels. And while that technically works, it's a real pain in the butt. You have to set up your lights, you gotta pull out the right color gel, clamp it. If it doesn't work, you have to like mix it with another color of gel, and then if it's still not quite the right hue you want, maybe another color of gel, and it's just not the most convenient way to do things. With a light like this, you can just pick the exact hue you want, set it up, and you're off to the races, which is just so handy. But let's say you don't do video work. Well, this light's super handy for photography as well. Just like the rest of you, I've been stuck inside for the past couple of weeks, staying quarantined, staying out of the way, and this light has opened up so many creative possibilities for photography. I've used it to take a super cool, futuristic looking image of a lens for my last thumbnail. I've used it to take a semi-interesting picture of me just working at my desk. If you're into product photography at all, this is a super cool thing to have at your side. If you want anything kind of gamer-esque, you want to try things out, you want to be creative, if you haven't gotten to RGB lighting, this is a decent option to kind of introduce you to that concept. So if you couldn't tell, I'm excited about this light, but there are some cons I want to make you aware of. And the biggest con I would say right off the bat is it comes in at $70, which is pretty expensive for a small little light like this. I mean, for a lot of people, $70 could go a long way. You can almost afford a full-size LED panel with a light stand for that price. Or some of you, that could go a long ways towards your next lens. $70, that is a steep price. But for whatever it's worth, I also don't think it's insane for the product you're getting. If you look at the market, there aren't really any cheaper lights than that. If you look at a mainstream brand like Aperture or something like this is going to cost you way over $100, and most of the other third-party brands are around the same price, in that $60 to $90 price range. So as far as on the market goes, if you want something like this, there aren't really cheaper options out there, but it does seem expensive. Another thing I don't love about this light is it's not diffused all that well. So yes, it has a thin little, somewhat foggy, transparent diffusion panel covering the LEDs as well as protecting them, but it is a pretty harsh light. So if I just set it up as like my only source of light for this lighting setup, it would look something like this. Alright, so as you can see, this is the only light that's lighting my face right now, and it's not quite as good as my actual setup. Now, surprising enough, just looking at the monitor, it doesn't look terrible. It's much better than not having a light at all, but this isn't really a key light. It would definitely work in a pinch, or if you need something mounted on the camera, but as far as like studio quality lighting goes, you're not going to get that with this light. It's not really the best first light you should probably purchase. It's a little bit harsh on my face. You can see it just looks like I'm being blasted here, and on top of that, it's got some pretty horrendous shadows in the background. You want to find a way to diffuse it if you are going to use it as your main source of light, but that's not really what it's intended for anyways. Alright, so we're back on the OG lighting setup. Final conclusions. So overall, and this is going to be a little bit biased because I was sent this for free, I think it's a great product. I think it is a little on the spendy side. I don't think it's for everyone. If you don't have a lighting setup yet for photo, for video, this probably isn't the first light you want to get. But if you're looking for something to use as accent lighting, or again, if you're shooting a short film, having things like this handy would be super cool. You know, if I'm ever doing a police scene, in fact, I have done a police scene before, but just having something like this to throw up there, throw it behind me for some ambient effects would be super cool. I do wish, and maybe they could come out with this in a future model, if there was a way you could program different lighting patterns with like an app on your phone or something, that would be so sick. But as of now, it's just got a few presets. It can cover a lot of what you'd want out of a light like this. It's got the RGB, as well as just cycle through the solid colors. So no really big complaints there. That's just something I'd like to see in maybe future iterations. I've already incorporated it in a lot of videos, a lot of product shots, B-roll, thumbnails, stuff like that. And I'm going to continue to do so in the future. So if you're stuck indoors like me and you're looking for something to do, this could be a pretty cool product for you. We're getting product shots, B-roll, spicing up that YouTube setup, anything like that. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to like it. If you have any questions, have any comments, hit up that comment section down below. And if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks again for watching. My name's Josh Winiarski. Check me out on Instagram. And I don't really have a question of the day. I didn't think of that. This is awkward. And what's your favorite light to use? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all next time.